understanding creativity and innovation, because this is very important that we don't mix the two. Creativity needs divergent, abstract thinking. Now we come to more technical stuff. Divergent thinking is the opposite of convergent thinking, where you think in different ways, like connecting a carrot and the mouthpiece of a saxophone to create a clarinet. Innovation needs convergent, concrete thinking. Now, having created this, what can you do with it? And that is the difference. So it's very important to understand the difference between creativity and innovation. Creativity is the foundation of innovation, but creativity does not produce innovation. There are artists who are not very creative. And I know some accountants who are very creative. Innovation is an elusive prey to catch. And what this means is you have to constantly reinvent your business model and business strategies. Why is that? Because the world is changing all the time. Now you have all heard this wonderful quotation from Einstein: insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Now there are a lot of people in Sri Lanka who are totally insane. That's what they are doing. Now, here's the new angle on this. In today's world, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting the same result. What worked yesterday will not work today. And this is my friend Felicio Ferraz. He was the former managing director of Ceylon Tobacco. He came to one of my presentations, and the day after that he called me. He wanted to meet me. Now, I was not sure whether I wanted to meet anybody from Ceylon Tobacco because I don't smoke. So I thought, this guy sounds interesting. So I went to meet him. And I found that he's a non-smoker. Managing director, CEO, Ceylon Tobacco is a non-smoker. Now, he had an issue. His personal values of not smoking, how does he bridge that with what they are trying to do? So during the conversation, I discovered something very interesting. I discovered that the tobacco company is selling a legal product with a clear health warning. None of the other stuff that you buy in supermarket carry a health warning. All the fizzy drinks that you consume, every single processed food, research shows, is the cause of all illness. So then he felt, no problem at all. Until that time, none of the top managers of Ceylon Tobacco wanted to meet the media. Now Felicio changed that. He went in front of the media, and you know what he said? He said, smoking is bad for you. But if you smoke, select one of our cigarettes. Because we make our cigarettes to quality standards. Now that is creativity. You look at the problem from a different point of view. So creativity doesn't mean big things like making carrot clarinets. It often means you look at the present situation from a different point of view and you get a new take on it. Right? And that helps you to go further. Because we have this idea, creative has to be big. If you have a great idea, that's wonderful. But little ideas can be as creative as big ideas. So now, why is innovation so important now compared to when we were children? The answer to that is survival depends on our ability to change faster than the environment. That's why dinosaurs went extinct. If the environment is changing faster than the rate at which you learn, you become extinct. This is why, now then comes the question, is the environment changing faster? And the answer to that is found in the second law of thermodynamics. That's the only thing I remember from my degree. The second law of thermodynamics says all systems naturally move from a state of order to a state of disorder, naturally. And that is called entropy. And the second law says that the entropy in the universe is constantly increasing. So this shows why the world is becoming more and more chaotic. The more changes we make, the more chaotic the world becomes. Now to summarize it nicely, here's the key. I love this. Matter and energy in the universe degrade to an ultimate state of inert uniformity. To understand inert uniformity, your organization will give you a perfect example. The young people who join the organization are very active. So while they are having an interesting conversation, a senior manager walks in, and that is inert uniformity. So they all follow this model of inert uniformity. The highest level of inert uniformity you see in the boardroom. Agree with that? They all think the same way, totally non-innovative, and that's why companies are very often stuck. I used to be the chairman of a group of financial service companies, and one of the first things I wanted to do was to hang a picture of a baby with a wet diaper in the boardroom. Because the baby with the wet diaper needs transformational change, not incremental change. They politely asked me to leave because I didn't fit the model of inert uniformity. So inert uniformity is what kills your creativity. Agreed? You have to get out of that mindset. And you see this everywhere, inert uniformity. This is what kills creativity. You don't need to create creativity, just get rid of the roadblock. So let's see, what hinders creativity and innovation? Restrictive corporate cultures. If the corporate culture, which is the collective consciousness of an organization, does not support creativity, being creative is suicidal. And then you have authoritarian management attitude. Yours is to do and die, not to question why. And micromanagement kills creativity. Imagine you have this fantastic idea and you're playing with it. Now you're not sure whether it will work or not. Somebody looks over the shoulder all the time and asks, hey, what are you doing? And you don't have an answer to that because you're being creative. So micromanagement is what kills creativity. And here's another interesting thing. We have two mindsets. Some people have a being good mindset, other people have a getting better mindset. This is the key. There was an experiment done with children. Two groups of children were given the same puzzle. One group was praised for being clever, being intelligent. The other group was praised for trying hard. Right? Two different groups of people given the same puzzle. As the puzzle became more and more complicated, at a certain stage, the group that was praised for being good gave up. The other group continued. Why is that? Because if you have been praised for being good, you don't want to take a risk. If you take a risk and it doesn't work, that means it destroys your self-image. This is the problem we have in Sri Lanka. Because you are praised by your parents for being in a state of inert uniformity. You do anything out of the box, you're not only discouraged, but very often you're punished. Why is it that people in Sri Lanka who have O-level English do not speak English? If you speak English, you make a mistake. If you make a mistake, people will laugh at you, so better not take the risk. Creativity involves getting out of your comfort zone. And getting out of your comfort zone means you will look silly. There's a wonderful story about a German girl who came to England to learn English. She goes to a restaurant and she orders a steak. She waits a long time and the steak doesn't come. So very annoyed, she calls the waiter and says, "Waiter, when do I become a steak?" So the waiter, being very English, said, "I hope never, my dear, but I'll check on that." That's because the German word for bekommen is to get in English. Right? So if you're trying to be creative, you will make a fool of yourself. That means you need to have this getting better mindset. Otherwise, at the earliest opportunity, you would give up. And the biggest challenge to creativity is fear of failure. If you try something, it doesn't work, people will laugh at you, better not take the risk. So these are the internal barriers we have against us being creative or innovative. Now on the other side, what nurtures creativity and innovation is an equally important question. Desire to improve even things that work. When Tom Peters came here, he said, if it works, change it because it won't work tomorrow. So you need to constantly take a look at what works and reinvent it, because what works today will not work tomorrow. That means you have to get yourself out of that comfort zone. Comfort zone is a dead zone, no creativity, no innovation. You have to constantly acquire knowledge. This is very important. And with the internet, it's very easy. I was up at 4:30 in the morning, listened to a webinar from 4:30 to 6:30. And tonight there's another one from 1:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock. Why? Because of the time difference between US and Sri Lanka. And these are free of charge. So if you want to acquire knowledge, there are enough opportunities on the internet All you need to do, if it's an American program, is to lose sleep. Are you willing to do that?